This is Katie Hunter from MMA UK, and I'm so excited to have Chloe Cooke with me. Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
We had some tech issues yesterday and some tech issues today, but I'm so delighted to get to speak to you.
Yeah, no, it's my rubbish Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. And I really appreciate you doing this interview because I know that you hate them. And for a lot of people, they'll be amazed that you can get in a cage and have a fight, but you're scared of interviews.
Because interviews is talking. I'm not good at talking. I'm just good at fighting.
You're very good at fighting. You're 3-0 as an AMI, and you're the Cage Warriors Academy Southeast strawweight champion. Just an incredible start to your career. And the last time you fought was my last show that I was there for before lockdown. Tell me about that big win.
Um, you know, uh,
She's a really good girl, Chloe. She was 4-0 going into that fight, and I think you showed like a different element of your game as well, because before that we've seen some really nice finishes from you with your striking.
yeah, I got to
But
show
this
off my
time,
jiu-jitsu in that one.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I knew she was gonna come in and try and take me down because I've watched all her fights before that. She's a bit of a brawler. She just likes to go to the ground and stay there. So I knew that was gonna happen, but I was also confident in my jiu-jitsu enough to go down.
yeah. I was confident in your jiu-jitsu as well because your dad's told me before that like it's something that you work on a lot in the gym. And Chanel Dyer, who I really rate, has told me that you're forever tapping her out in the gym.
I have to get her back somehow. She bashes me up standing up.
You two training together and sparring together must be so good for both of you.
It is. Because obviously we're both mostly stand-up fighters, but she is way more aggressive than me. So she keeps me on my toes. She keeps me like ready for more aggressive opponents. And where I've got jiu-jitsu and wrestling, it's really helping her.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like iron sharpens iron and you bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, it does.
And I mentioned your dad there briefly, Steve Cooke, who's your head coach at Team Underground.
Yeah.
Tell me about your fight family and tell me how you first started training in martial arts.
Well, basically, when I was younger, like maybe 8 till I was 10, I didn't do fighting at all. I just did football. But my brother did football as well, but he wasn't very good at it. So he wanted to try something different. And so he tried MMA, and my dad preferred that. So he tried to get me into it, but I wasn't interested in the slightest. Like I just wanted to continue football. So he bribed me with a cat. And I went, and then I still didn't really like it, but I got a cat out of it, and then I quit
What
for
was
a
the
little
cat
bit.
called?
Snowflake. But then I wasn't interested still, so I quit. And then he bribed me again with another cat.
What was that
So
cat called?
Fifi. I still have that one. She's somewhere in the background.
Hopefully she'll make an appearance and we
Yeah,
can thank her for
yeah,
you coming back to MMA.
she's the one that made me stick at it.
So, how did your dad get involved with Team Underground and how did that all come about?
I don't quite remember. I was young. I think he might have just wanted to try a new gym, like because our old gym was quite small. We wanted to try something different, and I think he just found it on Facebook or something, or a friend mentioned it, and then we just ended up going there and really enjoyed it.
That's amazing. And you mentioned your brother there. Your brother's a fighter as well.
He
Tell me about
is.
him.
He's recently just started the MMA properly because before he was mostly K1 and Muay Thai. He's
Yeah.
very, very, very good with K1. His hands are very good, and he's just started the MMA, and he's honestly a beast.
I know, and in his first fight, I think he was 16 and his opponent wasn't his opponent like nearly 30?
Yeah, he was older. But yeah, David's a big boy. He's grown, especially over lockdown. He's massive now.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you all fight again. But even your dad got in there after you. I think you
He
gave him the
did.
bug. So he's 2-0 as an
I
amateur
think
as well
yeah.
now.
I know he got a bit jealous and wanted to join in the fun.
Tell me what it's like for you watching them fight. Do you get more nervous for them?
I get more nervous for my brother. I don't know why. I always have. I've been really nervous for him because I still remember him being little and watching him fight. And he didn't have the greatest start to fighting. Like, he used to lose quite often. So, like, and I know he's a sore loser, so I don't like seeing him upset when he's lost.
You don't like seeing him upset, or you don't want to be around him when he's
I don't want to be
sulking?
around him. He's horrible. The story he doesn't like is when he lost years and years ago when he was really little. He went and sulked in the toilet and ate a bar of chocolate.
I'm sure he'll love you sharing that with
I
the
know
world.
he will. He's gonna come beat me up.
So it must be great for you in lockdown to have family that you've been able to train with.
Yeah, it's been a lot easier for me during the lockdown just because my dad obviously is the coach. He can hold pads for me whenever. My brother, he's lazy. He won't do it, but sometimes he might.
And what has it been like after getting off to such a great start to your AMI career? I'm sure that you just, especially after winning the belt, I'm sure you were just desperate to get back in there and feel that high again. And obviously the world's been turned on its head this
I
year.
know, it was really annoying. I wanted to possibly go pro by the end of this year or even like early next year, but that's been put on hold.
Yeah, it's so tough with so many shows that have been pulled, or so many shows that haven't gone ahead
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
of the situation.
We've had quite a few fighters get pulled out of fights recently because we keep getting put back into lockdowns.
Yeah, and I just think it's so hard mentally as well to be preparing for a fight when you're not sure whether it's going to go ahead, and it's
Yeah,
just
it is.
another thing to contend with when fighting is such a mental battle anyway.
It is. When you psych yourself up for the fight and then it's just cancelled, it's like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah. So how are you dealing with not being able to fight for this long?
I haven't been booked any fights, so I didn't have that struggle of like mentally preparing for one, so I was okay in that aspect. But it does feel weird not fighting for so long. It feels like ages ago I had that fight.
Yeah, and it was only back in March. So luckily you have fought this year. There's loads of people who haven't fought for over a year now, and it's just so tough. Do you have any plans for next year, or are you trying not to make any until you know what the situation's going to be like?
Not like set in stone plans, just like rough ideas of what I want to do, but there's nothing like that I've got to prepare for just yet, just because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. You talked about turning pro. How many fights do you want to have before that happens, ideally?
To be fair, I'd be happy just having maybe one more amateur and then going pro, just because I've already got the two Cage Warriors belts. Like, what else is there?
Exactly. And it's kind of, you were kind of in the same situation as Corey McKenna was when she was amateur, in that there's only so many girls your size.
Exactly. We're small. There's only so many you can fight. You end up fighting the same one twice or having to fly people in all the time. It's hard.
I think Jack Mason does a great job of getting girls from around Europe, because it is hard to match you. And like, it's a shame when you're good not to test yourself, because your amateur career is where you should test
Yeah,
yourself. So I'm glad you've had that opportunity.
Yeah, but amateur, I've always been told that amateur is the time where it's okay to lose. Like, you want to lose, really, because you just want to put yourself in the deep end, but it's impossible to do when there's no one else to fight.
Yeah. So what's the long-term plan then? If you want to turn pro in the future, where do you see yourself? Is UFC the goal?
UFC, yeah, it's one of the goals. Either UFC or one championship.
Yeah. And who's the dream matchup? Just say you got to UFC or one, who would you most like to fight?
I honestly don't know. Because I like them all. I don't really want to fight them.
Do
It's
you
like
struggle with fighting people you like?
Um, I've not really fought anyone that I like per se, but I have had people that are my weight, but I don't want to fight them now because we're friends. I'm like, damn it.
That's what I think is really hard. Again, with girls, where there are fewer of you, you kind of want to train with people around your own weight, but then you know that one day they could end up being opponents.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, I'm okay with Chanel now because I got smaller somehow and she got bigger. I don't know how that happened. We were like the same size when she first came to my gym, and I'm tiny. So that's okay. But if anyone else comes to my gym, it'd be great. But like, I've got no more opponents.
Yeah, I do think that's tough. Well, I'd really love to see you on the next Cage Warriors Academy card. I'm really, really hoping that we get
I
one of
really
those.
hope that I can get on there soon.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. That's one of my favourite shows, and
It is a
I
great
love
show.
seeing you on that show. Tell me about the rest of Team Underground. You mentioned Chanel there. You've mentioned your brother, but who else should we be looking out from your gym?
So we have who fought on the last Cage Warriors as well. We have Amir, who's really, really good. He's so technical on the ground. We have Jack, again, really technical on the ground. Like a lot of our fighters are mostly jiu-jitsu based, but they've been working their stand-up a lot over the lockdown, so they might surprise us when we fight again.
Jack's someone I'd love to interview in the future. He's a bit like you in that he's hard to
He
get
doesn't
hold
like
of.
talking. He's a little Peckham Road boy. He doesn't like it.
I'm going to have to leave that one up to your dad as well.
Just get him to bully him into it.
What is it with your gym that you all don't mind having a tear up, but you don't like talking?
I don't know. You'd think that I would like it because my dad can chat for anything.
And what do you think is the bit of your game that you've most improved since your last fight, or what's the bit that you're most looking forward to showing off when you do get to fight again?
Well, the thing I've been working the most, even before that fight, but since it as well, is wrestling, because we've got a new wrestling coach now as well. Like we had her just before the lockdown started, and she's really good, Simona. But yeah, I'd like to show my wrestling a bit more because in my last one I struggled a little bit with the cage stuff, like against my back against the cage. But I think I do much better in that position now.
Yeah, because you were being harsh on yourself there, but yeah, I think as well, wrestling's such a
It is
huge
important.
part of the game now, and if you don't have it, or even if you don't have it to a super high standard, it's really hard to compete with the best. So I think that's a really good thing to be working on.
I know, because you can be a great striker, you know, great jiu-jitsu, but if someone's just holding you there and like just cuddling you essentially, you can't do much.
Yeah, and we see examples of it every week where someone's frustrated into a loss, and
It
like you
tires you out.
say,
Wrestling's exhausting. I didn't
it's also,
realize.
yeah, I think as well, it's also the thing that causes the most injuries. Like
Yeah.
you always walk away with some kind of niggle after wrestling practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the plan for next year if nothing changes? Are you just gonna keep on, trying to improve, or I'd love you to be on the Celtic Gladiator cards as well. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen those still going ahead.
Are they?
They've been going ahead. So Cole Prince and Andrew Lofthouse at Manchester Top Team are putting on those cards, and they've had a couple in lockdown. So it would be awesome
If
if we
they
could
can
get
get
you
me a
fighting that.
fight, I'd be willing.
Oh, I'm gonna message your dad afterwards and say, because they've had girls on their cards as well, and it's a really good show. So I would love to see you back in January, but I don't know what that means for Christmas. Would you have to lay off the Yorkshire puddings if
If
you're
I'm
fighting at
honest,
the end of
I've not gained
January?
any weight and I don't know how. I'm at fight weight right now. I need to put on some weight.
Oh my God, that's amazing, Chloe. Please tell me your secret.
I don't know. It's sleeping.
I can do that. Why is it not working for me?
Just sleep all day, wake up, go train, and then go back to sleep.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me. As
Thank
I
you for
said
having
before,
me.
I know that you hate doing these, but it's good preparation for when you're in the UFC and
I
you're
know.
having to cook
I
to
need
John
it.
Anik.
I need it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Chloe. I will speak to you soon and
Thank you.
wish you all the best and a lovely Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Take care.
Bye bye.